And we're live. This is the OSRA Daily Scrum for February 10th, 2015. Here we have Christian, Robbie, and myself. Christian, do you want to start us off?
Yes, but I don't have much to say. I didn't work on OSRA today, and well, I didn't do. I looked over the Brian's update on his pull request a little, and that's about it for me.
Okay.
About future plans, well, keep working on the Rails stuff, I think.
Yeah, okay. Robbie, do you have, what do you have to tell us?
Yeah, so again, I haven't been working on OSRA, and I was just really come down to say I'm probably not going to get an opportunity in the near future because I'm starting to do a website from a friend of mine, and then I'm off on holiday for a week at the end of February, so I'll probably not be on for a while again. I did notice actually that the stuff that I had submitted before it went away is still not merged in.
Yeah, we were trying to do some sort of triage on the pull requests. We had a lot of pull requests open at one time, with a lot of them without any activity on them for quite a long time. And excuse me. I remember that specifically I closed the pull request that had to do with the importer, and I didn't close it because it's not necessary. It most definitely is. It's just we kept saying that we need to talk about it and then decide which way to proceed. And since that wasn't happening, I decided that it's better to close it rather than to have it sitting just as an open thing, kind of gathering dust, so to speak. But by all means, please do not delete that branch.
Okay.
And we will reopen that pull request when, I guess, as we kept saying, you, me, and Craig, at least the three of us, can sit down and discuss the details of that implementation.
Right. Okay. So that's probably a few weeks away.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, please hold on. Like, don't delete that branch. Okay. Hold on to that code because we will come back to it.
Okay. So the others were around the Rails implementation of users, new and create and edit and update.
Yeah, I think so those are still open, and as far as I understand, there are comments outstanding on both of those that would need to be addressed.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess this is the thing that most frustrates me about this project is the review aspects, because really most of those comments, I think practically all of those comments are really about style, you know, and it's like saying, well, I don't like this way that this T is crossed, and then somebody else comes on and says, well, I actually do like the way, you know, it's crossed, and I don't like the way that this I is dotted. And I must say I find it very frustrating that.
Well, I can repeat, I guess, what I've said before, is that if we had a generally agreed upon style guide of some sort, things like that would definitely be minimized, if not outright eliminated. But in
well, I don't think that you're really going to be able to do a style guide that covers these sorts of things, because you know, it would just have to be too broad. It's not a style guide. Is really covers things like how you do comments, for example, you know, things to avoid and that sort of stuff. But this thing about whether you, for example, call you know, load partner as created, or something like, just the way I did was just user.new and this sort of thing. um, it's going to be down to individual styles, and I think that it's good to be commenting on things if there's a clearly identified way that they could be improved. Like some of the comments you made in my earlier stuff, Nick, where it was clearly a better way to do things. But I think that a lot of the stuff I've seen here has really been, well, I prefer doing it this way. And so Craig says something, and then Brian says something different. And it is really just personal styling preferences, I guess, personal ways of writing code.
Yeah, I understand your point. I can tell you that ideally, I would prefer to have a uniform style across the entire application, because especially for a new person coming in, if they see something that looks like it's essentially the same thing, but it's done two different ways in two different places, the question naturally arises, does one of them do something different? Is there a particular reason why it does it like this here and like that there? So, this line of this bunch of comments that I'm looking at, for example, it's not that it's my preferred style to use this load user, load partner, load whatever, but since that was established as the sort of generally team accepted convention in the initial partners controller.
I think it wasn't accepted because, the comment that Brian made on the original partner one, saying he didn't really like that, and I agreed with him. It was just that Craig didn't change it, and it just got merged in.
Okay.
So, I think it comes back to what Viv said one night. That that if people are going to be dogmatic about, you must do it this way and you must do it that way, really people are going to get pissed off, I think, and just not bother contributing. And I must say, I felt it very frustrating that this had been done 3 weeks ago and it's kind of sat on the shelf, and people have made these sorts of styling comments, and it's just kind of gone nowhere.
Well, Robbie, I can tell you that if you join any other open source project, even though, yes, it is community contributed and there may be hundreds or even thousands of contributors, there are still certain guides that are followed, certain styles that are followed, and if you introduce a pull request that is in a very different style from the rest of the code base, you will get those comments that, please look at the code around you and try to stick to the guide, to the style, to the approaches. And I'm using the word style generally here. I don't mean, where you put the commas. I mean how you create a controller action, for example. If the established style, does it one way, then it is definitely preferred to stick to that style throughout the code base. I don't know what to tell you.
That's the way it's going to be, is it? That's what you're saying?
Well, I'm saying that as much as I can, I try to keep the style uniform throughout the project, and that has resulted in several cases, or in many cases, in me accepting style that was not my preference. But if the team's choice was that, then that's what we went with the idea that that is the style that we adopt for the rest of the code base going forward. So
yeah, so I know that we've been on calls. For example, we discussed about this, the business about degree of testing around setting of instance variables.
yeah.
So one of the jobs of the controller is to set the instance variables, and Brian and I felt one way, and you and Craig felt differently about it. and it just didn't get resolved. And I'm not sure where it's been resolved in my absence, but it seemed to be things that really, weren't really getting resolved, and just sitting there. And there was a bit, uh, people were at loggerheads, and it was just kind of deadlock.
Well, again, Robbie, I understand your frustration, but having said that, I would point out that the rest of the team has apparently found ways to move ahead. Other pull requests do get merged, and yours have been merged as well. I don't think the issue has become any particularly exacerbated when it comes to these last two pull requests. On the one hand, we have a high degree of democracy on the team, so everybody's opinion is as valid as everybody else's, and if there is no clear majority, then we do remain at an impasse. And, if we don't go as far as changing the structure of the team and assigning clear roles to people and giving more authority to some people versus the others, I think that is going to be in the nature of the game. That we may argue and may not come to an easy agreement. And here's what I propose. Okay, you have these two pull requests, 2A3, 2A2. I will go over them tonight if possible, maybe tomorrow. Okay. If I agree with you that there is nothing but style issues, whether they're just simple style or something slightly different, like about this load user method versus just building it by hand effectively. If these are the only things that are holding up these pull requests, I will merge them in. Okay.
Okay.
But if there are any comments or any concerns raised by me or by anybody else that don't fall into that category, then I'll leave a note on them that this is something that I feel should be addressed before the code gets merged.
Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah.
Okay. So Robbie, you said the end of February is how long you think you're going to be gone?
Well, I'm going to be probably tied up this next couple of weeks, and then I'm off on holiday for a week as well. So it will be into March at the earliest, really.
Okay.
I'm going to be involved. But if there's anything that is urgent to fix in those things that you think, then I can do that. That shouldn't take me too long.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be these two pull requests. So just to give you a quick update, we had a client meeting on Sunday, and we have a list of priorities for phase one. So whenever we do have whenever we have a sprint planning meeting, and we're waiting on Craig to get his internet fixed up and working so he can rejoin us. Whenever we do that, we will officially launch phase one, and there are some new stories in there, new features that the client has requested, which some of which are quite different from anything that we've worked on up until now. So I think it should be an interesting phase of development. But you will definitely catch it if you come back in March.
What sort of things are they asking for then, Nick?
So one of the things that we knew about was, I just pasted the link to the client meeting notes. One of the things that we knew about was they want to print orphan information in the form of PDFs. So export some of it, put it into a PDF template that they have provided, and then print that out. Something more complex is they want the application to actually monitor the birth dates of orphans, and whenever an orphan turns 18 years of age, they want the application to alert them to the fact that he or she is no longer eligible to be sponsored. So we're talking about background jobs and some kind of a notification center that displays that kind of information. And yeah, you can, at that link, you can see the other things that they have asked for. Okay, actually, so let me wrap up this Scrum by saying that I kept working today on service objects, and I will probably, I don't know, I guess maybe once Craig comes back and if Brian is able to join us, I would like to share some of that code and my approaches with the team and discuss whether or not they're beneficial, etc. And then we can decide if that's an approach that we want to use throughout the application, or that will just remain as an exploratory spike that doesn't really go anywhere. And other than that, I still keep waiting for our sprint planning meeting and the start of phase 1, so I haven't really started on anything. And I guess I get to wait another day. Is there anything else for the Scrum guys?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay then. So Robbie, if we don't see you for about a month maybe, then I hope everything goes well for you and that your vacation is well. And,
okay, thanks, Nick.
Yeah. And Christian, then I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yep.
All right. Take care, guys.
Okay.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.